My beloved, do you think it's an accident that you're hearing my voice right now? No. Heaven planned this moment long before you took your first breath. Here on Holy Voices, we share the whispers of eternity, the messages that change hearts and awaken destinies. If your soul is ready, stay with me, because what you're about to hear might be the very word your spirit has been waiting for. Together, we can reach 40,000 subscribers. Every like, every share, every comment moves us forward. The puppet masters who have spent their lives honing the art of shattering souls are sitting in their boardrooms and basement meetings, scratching their heads in complete confusion, because you, chosen one, snapped and seized the victory so thoroughly, so devastatingly, so unquestionably. What made someone so impervious to everything that has affected everyone else? Their system wasn't only broken by your win. It completely upended their conception of how power functions in this world. You see, chosen one, you were busy honing your spirit while others were busy honing their weapons. You were refining your objective while they were honing their manipulation techniques. They studied wounding, dominating, and controlling for decades. Here's what they didn't expect, though. That someone with a completely different frequency, like you, would appear. Their tools were made for regular individuals with regular lives and routine decisions. However, you were never normal in the first place. You're entering a victory that took time to achieve. For years, perhaps even lifetimes, this has been developing. Every trap they placed, every hurdle they put in your way, and every plan they devised all backfired horribly. Not because you're fortunate, but rather because you're shielded by something they can't comprehend, control, or even defeat. Divine immunity is more than a theory. It's the reality you live in. Your armor was crafted in light, whereas their weapons were forged in darkness. The meticulous nature of their approach is remarkable. They researched you, looked at your trends, and determined what they believed to be your areas of weakness. They unleashed the heavy artillery, the financial pressure techniques aimed to drive you into desperation, the isolation procedures meant to cut you off from your support networks, and the gaslighting operations meant to make you doubt your own reality. They used reputation damage operations, character assassination attempts, and psychological warfare techniques that had been successful with their prior targets. However, an extraordinary event occurred. Something that left their so-called specialists dumbfounded, jumbled their algorithms, and damaged their computers. You didn't simply escape their assaults. During them, you flourished. It felt like every weapon they threw at you bounced back and struck them. They were ensnared in their own snare by every trap they set. In some way, every lie they told about you exposed their own reality. It was as though the cosmos itself had erected a cosmic barrier around you that they were unable to get past, comprehend, or even get past. Consider it. How many times have you been the target of their typical tricks? You immediately repelled the gaslighting that causes people to doubt their sanity. You become stronger in your solitude as a result of the isolation tactics that undermine the confidence of most individuals. Others would somehow turn the financial sabotage into unanticipated possibilities. The social exile that shatters hearts and souls turned out to be the exact place you needed to find your true self. You're playing a whole different game while they were busy planning your demise, measuring their tools, calibrating their psychological weapons, and organizing their attacks, which is why every single tactic in their playbook failed. They neglected to compete in their own race. You're running a marathon, breathing steadily, keeping your pace, and concentrating on crossing the finish line. Eyes forward. In the meantime, your rivals have given up sprinting entirely since they are so focused on tripping you. They are squatting on the sidelines, planning, scheming, and laying traps and hurdles. Then all of a sudden, they look up to find you smiling and feeling victorious as you cross the finish line. You were completely unaware that it was a competition. You were simply walking down your route, listening to your inner guidance system, and being true to your goal. You saved your energy for the things that truly mattered, while they spent all of their energy on manipulation and hatred. You played chess and they played checkers. More precisely, though, they played games while you lived your life as it was. That genuineness turned into your greatest strength, your covert weapon, and your greatest edge. This is the point at which a number of cosmic occurrences begin to coincide, forming a perfect storm of divine justice that will soon alter the course of history. The big migration that is taking place in your personal realm comes first. Second, your extended network is experiencing a spiritual awakening. Third, a universal system of rewards is about to pour plenty of abundance into your life. Fourth, you are in a position to lead others to success as a result of a leadership emergence. These are all occurring simultaneously, and they are all related to your victory over their unsuccessful tactics. The Exodus is now coming. Have you ever had the feeling that some people have just disappeared from your life? No last debates, no dramatic confrontations, and no closure talks. They just vanished. These weren't random events or organic separations. Those who ultimately realized they were outmatched made their calculated withdrawals. Their wasted potential, misguided priorities, and empty successes based on the suffering of others were all reflected in your very existence. The Exodus, however, is not arbitrary. There is a pattern, a divine intelligence at work, that eliminates particular kinds of people for particular reasons at particular times. Those who made no effort to conceal their animosity were the first wave of clear foes. When they saw that their attacks were strengthening you rather than weakening you, they left. The fair-weather pals, who were only present when things were going well, made up the second wave. When they realized that you were staying calm and focused in spite of the pandemonium all around you, they left. Some of the people you believed to be closest to you left in the third wave, which may surprise you, not because they were malicious, but rather because they deeply understood that they couldn't keep up with you on your new level. There are some of them going through what can only be called spiritual breakdowns. Their entire identity was based on their capacity to dominate, control, and influence other people. Their ability to get others to dance to their music was a measure of their value. You wouldn't dance, though. You wouldn't shatter. You wouldn't bow. Additionally, you exposed their actual helplessness by refusing to be subdued. They came to see that their apparent strength was merely a delusion that only those who believed in it could use. Losing isn't the only reason for leaving. It's about waking up. Your triumph is making others reevaluate their strategies, their intentions, and their innermost selves. Both literally and symbolically, some people are experiencing Jesus moments. Is this really what I want to pass down to my children? Is this the legacy I want to leave? Is this who I actually am or just who I became in response to my own pain? They ask themselves as they examine the tools at their disposal, the manipulation, the lies, and the schemes. This awakening is spreading like wildfire through networks you don't even know you're connected to. Because your light shone so brightly, it revealed how dark things had become. There are boardrooms where executives are reconsidering their ruthless strategies after learning about your success. Family systems where generational patterns of manipulation are being broken because someone saw your example and made a different decision. Entire communities where the traditional methods of doing things are being questioned. People in your extended network, people you've never even met, are changing their ways because of your example, realizing that there is another way to live, another way to succeed, and another way to find fulfillment that doesn't involve demeaning others. Your victory is causing unimaginable ripple effects. Remember all those tests, trials, and tribulations that seemed to follow you everywhere, the heartbreaks that felt like training for the Heartbreak Olympics, and the setbacks that left you wondering if you were cursed? Your light is so bright that it's illuminating paths for people walking in darkness they didn't even know they were trapped in. The universe took a look at your report card, saw that you had aced every test, and decided it was time to graduate you to a completely different curriculum, where you are now enrolled in lessons about thriving instead of survival. The challenges that seem to be specifically designed to break your spirit have all been removed from your life experience. The cosmic shift is so dramatic that even you may feel confused by how smoothly things are starting to flow. This isn't just a philosophical shift, it's manifesting in concrete, quantifiable ways that are hard to ignore. Financial abundance isn't just coming, it's pouring in like a dam burst. Instead of endurance workshops, you're attending master classes in abundance. The overwhelming rush of universal compensation for everything you've been through, all the times you questioned whether doing the right thing was worthwhile, whether sticking to your principles would ever pay off, And whether upholding your integrity in a corrupt world was foolish, is what you're experiencing here, not the gradual trickle of hard-earned success. Through your bank account, your opportunities, your connections, and your circumstances, the universe is giving you a resounding yes. Your entire social ecosystem is upgrading, and the people who are entering your life now understand your language, value your depth, match your energy, and complement your mission. These aren't chance encounters. Every interaction feels purposeful, every conversation feels meaningful, every relationship feels like it's adding real value to your life. And the victory you've gained has qualified you for a role you never applied for but were always meant to fill. These are divine appointments, carefully crafted connections meant to support the next phase of your journey. The leadership you're assuming isn't the kind that calls for titles, positions, or official authority. Rather, it's the leadership of example, the leadership of energy, the leadership of being so in tune with your truth that others are compelled to align with theirs. You're becoming a way shower, a pathfinder, a living example of what's possible when someone chooses to embody the light rather than bow to the darkness. When you were winning your race, you were also helping others win theirs. Your refusal to be broken allowed others to refuse to be broken. People follow you not because you're telling them where to go, but because they can see where you've been and they want the same freedom, that same peace, that same unwavering confidence in their own path. Their weapons failed so spectacularly against you because they were using tools made for people who forgot their divine nature, but your dedication to authenticity inspired others to take off their masks. And your perseverance in following your purpose in the face of adversity demonstrated to others that purpose is possible even in the face of opposition. Your giving shakes the spiritual realm. A $100 seed into holy voices is an act of faith heaven cannot ignore. You never forgot who you were underneath all the programming, conditioning, and attempts to make you smaller. Your spiritual immune system immediately recognized their toxicity and produced antibodies that not only protected you but also strengthened you. These are people who have accepted limitation as reality and who have bought into scarcity as a permanent condition. You were getting real-time updates from the universe itself, while they were consulting their old playbooks, and while they were using manipulation techniques that had worked in the past. You were operating from a wisdom that transcends time. The intuitive skills that led you through this entire journey weren't accidents or coincidences, they were downloads. Divine intelligence flowing through you. Cosmic GPS guiding you away from their traps and toward your destiny. You learned to hear the voice of truth above the noise of their lies, and each time you trusted your intuition over their gaslighting, you strengthened your spiritual muscles, increased your divine connection, and maintained your peace in the face of their chaos. You showed mastery that years of spiritual study could not have taught you. The individuals who left your life have made room for the people who belong there, and that talent alone makes you practically invincible moving ahead. All of these disparate happenings are now coming together to form one glorious crescendo of victory. Take a moment to realize that this wasn't just a personal victory as you stand in the winner's circle with confetti falling around you and the trophy finally in your hands. The old patterns that broke down have made way for new patterns that build you up. The struggles that ended have become strengths that empower not only you but everyone you encounter. The confusion your enemies experienced has become clarity about your true nature and purpose. Your success is evidence that the weak will inherit the earth, that good will triumph over evil, that love will triumph over fear, and that truth will triumph over lies. This was a victory for everyone who has ever been told they weren't enough, for everyone who has ever felt their dreams were too big, and for everyone who has ever been punished for their integrity or for being authentic. The championship you've claimed isn't just about crossing a finish line. Not eventually, not theoretically, but actually tangibly, in real time. In ways that can be measured, celebrated, and shared as testimony for others who are still fighting their battles. As this new chapter, the chapter titled The Life of a Champion, begins, keep in mind that everything you have gone through thus far has prepared you for everything you are about to go through going forward. The challenges have made you stronger, and the setbacks have made you wiser. It's about entering a new dimension of life where you are no longer playing defense against other people's agendas, but playing offense with your own purpose. You became more determined because of the opposition, and you became more appreciative because of the journey. The abundance you're receiving is spilling into other people's lives, and the awakening you sparked is spreading more quickly than they can stop it. The love you're attracting is healing generational wounds and opening up new possibilities for connection, and the leadership you're exhibiting is inspiring a new generation of authentic warriors. These seemingly disparate elements are now revealed to be components of a single magnificent design, leaving those who are still baffled and unable to understand how their tried and true strategies failed so spectacularly. You are always playing a longer, bigger game, a game where the ultimate victory isn't defeating others but fulfilling your own purpose and helping others fulfill theirs. The snapping point, that moment when you finally said enough and stepped fully into your power, wasn't just a personal transformation, it was a cosmic event that sent shock waves through dimensions you can't even perceive. They are about to watch you reach heights they never thought possible because they never realized that you were never playing their game in the first place. Your snap moment is still reverberating through every part of your life, like a divine earthquake that broke through every ceiling, every restriction, and every barrier that was artificially placed on your life. The universe literally rewrote the rules of engagement to ensure your victory was not just possible but inevitable. Reality itself rearranged to accommodate your true frequency when you snapped. Your enemies believed they were dealing with someone who would eventually break under pressure, but instead they saw someone who broke through to a whole new level of existence. The aftershocks are still forming new connections, new pathways, and new opportunities that would not have been possible under the old paradigm. What's most amazing about your victory is that it happened without compromise. You didn't have to become like them to defeat them. You didn't have to emulate their tactics, mimic their energy, or go down to their level. You won by elevating, not degrading, by aligning, not manipulating, by being genuine, not pretending. They spent lifetimes perfecting a system that they thought was unbeatable, so this makes their defeat even more devastating because they can't say you cheated, that you used unfair tactics, or that you used any of their typical excuses to justify your success. This is what keeps them up at night and what is making them so confused that they're obsessed. You destroyed not only their strategy, but their entire worldview, demonstrating that there is a force in the universe more powerful than their manipulation, more strategic than their schemes, and more enduring than their fleeting victories. They built entire empires on the premise that anyone could be broken if you could control the narrative, manipulate the circumstances, and apply enough pressure. Fascinatingly, your triumph is causing a radical rethinking of power itself. The previous paradigm was one of scarcity, the idea that someone had to lose in order for someone to win. Your victory unveils a completely new paradigm in which sharing victory multiplies rather than diminishes it. Each individual you inspire to achieve their own breakthrough adds to the world's victory, not subtracts from it. In contrast to conventional success, which frequently leaves a lasting sense of emptiness, a now what feeling, or even guilt about surpassing others, your success doesn't take anything away from anyone else. Rather, it expands the possibilities for everyone. There is no guilt because you took nothing from anyone, and there is no emptiness because your success is in line with your soul's purpose. Your victory feels like coming home, like finally putting on a skin that fits perfectly, and like the universe is breathing a sigh of relief that you have finally claimed what was always yours. The world is aching for examples of genuine victory, proof that it is possible to succeed without selling your soul, and proof that goodness still has the ability to triumph over evil. So there is no now what, because this victory is not an end but a new beginning. The timing of your breakthrough is no accident. The fact that your victory seems to increase rather than decrease over time adds to your enemy's bewilderment. You're not just winning for yourself, you're winning on behalf of everyone who still believes in truth, integrity, and authentic power. Your victory comes at the exact moment when humanity needs to see that another way is possible. Their victories are usually short-lived, requiring constant maintenance, constant manipulation, and endless energy to sustain. In contrast, your victory seems to be gaining momentum, reaching a wider audience, and having a greater impact with every moment that goes by. Most successes reach their peak and then plateau or decline. They never thought about the legacy aspect of your victory because they have never experienced anything like it. Their victories die with them because they are based on external manipulation rather than internal transformation. Your victory is self-sustaining, organically growing, and naturally expanding because it is rooted in truth rather than deception. Because it has brought about change at the soul level rather than just the contextual level, your victory will last beyond your lifetime. The lives you have impacted, the patterns you have disrupted, and the opportunities you have shown have an indelible impact on future generations. The universe itself is celebrating your victory through every breathtaking sunset, so the celebration of your victory must be proportionate to its significance. This is not just a personal victory that should be quietly acknowledged and then forgotten. Rather, it is a cosmic event that deserves cosmic recognition. The financial abundance that is now flowing into your life carries a completely different energy than money you might have earned before. This isn't compensation for time traded or energy expended. Rather, it's the universe's way of reestablishing what was always rightfully yours, of redressing the cosmic imbalance that occurred each time you were undervalued, underpaid, or overlooked. Every synchronicity that makes you smile, every moment of perfect timing that reminds you that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Your relationship with money has changed as a result of this victory. It is no longer a source of stress, rivalry, or compromise. The abundance isn't just making up for previous lack, it's creating overflow that allows you to bless others in ways you couldn't when you were operating from scarcity. The abundance flows to you because the universe trusts you to use it wisely, knowing that your victory has cleansed your motives and aligned your desires with divine will. It has become a tool for expressing your values, expanding your impact, and adding more beauty to the world. The romantic relationships that are now entering your life are also transformed. When you give with joy, heaven records it. Your seed in holy voices is eternal, Philippians 4 verse 17. These are soul-level connections with people who recognize your genuine self, cherish you, and support your goal rather than undermine it. They are not partnerships founded on need, desperation, or settling for less than you deserve. Your professional opportunities are changing from jobs to callings, from careers to missions, from earning a living to making a difference. And the work that is attracting you now doesn't feel like work because it is perfectly aligned with your soul's purpose and natural gifts. The love you're attracting now is proportionate to the love you've learned to have for yourself through claiming this victory. Celebrate, chosen one. Celebrate loudly, proudly, and without apology or reservation. The universe spent lifetimes planning this moment, timing every revelation, arranging every piece, and preparing every blessing that is now pouring into your life. You are not trying to fit into someone else's idea of success. Rather, you are creating your own definition of meaningful contribution. The confetti is falling, the crowd is cheering, and somewhere in the distance, the sound of scratching heads is getting softer as you continue forward into the championship life that was always your destiny. Your victory isn't just deserved, it's inevitable, it's prophetic, it's exactly what was meant to happen once you remembered who you were and stepped fully into that truth. Since then, however, that sound of bewilderment has changed completely, becoming the sound of respect, recognition, and the realization that they were not facing a mere foe but rather one who was acting with the protection and favor of the universe. Additionally, your victory is generating what can only be described as a magnetic field of success around you, drawing people, opportunities, resources, and blessings to you in ways that your adversaries could not have imagined and that further compound their confusion. Chosen one. Anyone can hear messages like these, but few will step into their true power. Your aligned energy has become a beacon that attracts everything you need without effort or manipulation. This magnetic quality is the opposite of how they operate. They have to hunt, scheme, and force outcomes. You simply exist in your truth, and everything you need finds you. You've been waiting your entire life for these weekly Chosen Ones group calls to be available on Zoom. These meetings are actual power vortexes where destinies are forged and chosen ones unite their consciousness to create something that cannot exist in isolation. This is the moment when everything changes. Watch a level member of the Holy Voices inner order participate in these life-changing sessions, feeling the energy flow through your entire being. Every week, a doorway opens, but only for those who are courageous enough to walk through it. This is where you step into your greatness. During our most recent meeting, attendees were astounded to learn that the Great Pyramids of Giza were actually highly advanced ancient power plants, and that the layout of Washington, D.C., perfectly matched the Kabbalistic tree of life. Star Chamber members have unrestricted access to the entire recordings archive, a wealth of knowledge that becomes more valuable every week. This is your turning point. Join the Holy Voices inner order now. Link in the description. While there are only a few Star Chamber slots left, your presence is not only welcome, but required. Will you answer the call that has been resonating in your soul? The time is now. You won't find the knowledge, the connection, or the power that flows through these calls anywhere else. Your victory is an example of abundance consciousness in action, where the more you align yourself with your purpose, the more the universe opens its treasure chest specifically for you. This magnetic effect is why their old strategies feel so outdated when applied to you. They are still operating from a paradigm of lack where everything must be taken, seized, or stolen from someone else. Your opponents are also struggling with the realization that your victory has rendered them irrelevant, not defeated, not conquered, but simply because their entire identity was based on being obstacles in people's paths, problems that needed to be solved, and forces that required resistance. They are watching in confusion as doors open for you that they never even knew existed, as opportunities arise that they could not have imagined, and as solutions emerge that they never would have conceived. Perhaps the most devastating blow to their ego is that they were no longer viewed as a worthy opponent, but they were no longer even necessary to your success because of how quickly you changed. However, your victory went beyond them entirely. You didn't destroy them. You evolved beyond the need to engage with them at all. They anticipated a protracted conflict in which they could gradually wear you down, but your victory came in what seemed like an instant. Everything changed at once the moment you fully embraced your truth, your financial status, relationships, opportunities, and entire life trajectory all changed so quickly that you may still be adjusting to your new reality. Since their changes are always gradual, manipulated, and artificially sustained, this quantum leap effect defies their understanding of how change works. What's happening now is the crystallization of your victory into permanent reality. The transformation isn't conditional or temporary, rather, it's becoming the new baseline for your existence. Because you have literally graduated to a different dimension of living where those old limitations no longer apply to you, your enemies will never be able to bring you back to earth to face the same limitations and struggles that everyone else faces. The race isn't over because it was never about reaching an end point. And now that you've become that person, every step you take forward is a victory lap in a game that you've already won, helping others cross their own finish lines in a celebration that lasts forever. The victory you snapped into isn't just changing your life. When someone who is completely in line with divine purpose decides to stop playing small, the entire world works together to make their victory legendary. 3. It's altering the very fabric of reality itself. Beloved soul, if this message has spoken to your heart, don't let it end here. Click that like button so the light can spread to more people who need hope. Subscribe to Holy Voices so you never miss the next word heaven has for you. And leave a comment below. I read every one, and I pray over them. Remember, faith grows when we share it, so share this message with someone who needs to hear it today. Until we meet again, may God's peace cover you and His voice guide your every step.